Bobby Jones seemed destined for greatness. The same cannot be said of Kyle Lograsso. Challenges for Kyle have been par for the course. Like Jones, Lograsso's brilliance with the club was discovered shortly after he could walk, as was the cancer that nearly claimed his life. I first caught up with the Lograsso family back in the summer of 2007.
What numbers you want to play with, ones or twos?
Twos.
Good one, Kyle. Good shot.
It's all he ever wants to do.
Almost won the hole, didn't it?
I know. He eats, sleeps, and breathes golf.
Kyle Lograsso just turned 5, but his fascination began years earlier in a hotel room watching the Golf Channel.
We weren't allowed to change the channel. We could not change it, and if you were in the room, you had to be quiet. And the times that he did leave, he was out in the hallway with a stick, a club, a bat, making fake, practice swings. And then he would go right back inside and watch it.
Mom and Dad played softball, never golf, but they surprised Kyle with a set of clubs for his 2nd birthday. And he was hooked.
This Tiger-esque pose.
If Tiger's on TV, that I'm just sitting there and watching him. So if I sit there and watching him, if he wins, I'm like jumping up and down.
Like if you're not actually playing, it's really boring. Like just to watch, like on TV, I watch it and I'm like, how do you watch this stuff? Then I'm like, can we turn the channel, please?
The game consumes Kyle. His room is a shrine, his kitchen a putting green, his backyard a driving range, and his father both caddy and casualty.
I've actually golfed with Kyle 3 times, and we've kept score, and he's beat me all 3 times, and he doesn't let me forget that.
4.
So why doesn't he let Dad ever win?
Said 4 so he can watch out. Because he needs some more practice.
Kyle was living overseas when he first picked up the game. His father, a Marine, was stationed in Japan, and it was there where his mother sensed something was wrong.
One day he was watching TV, and I don't know why I did what I did, but I came around his left side with my hand to cover his eye to see if how long it would take him to see my finger. Well, I got all the way across his eye, and he didn't even flinch. And that's when my heart kind of dropped a little bit, because I thought, wow, I don't think he can see out of that eye.
The kid with such a bright future was partially living in the dark.
I didn't want to know if something was wrong, because you're just thinking the worst case scenario, and I said, he's fine, don't worry about it, he's just playing with you. It's mother's intuition, they say, but I was just a typical, he's fine, it's my son, nothing's gonna hurt him.
That mother's intuition saved Kyle's life. From Japan, the family was flown to a hospital in Hawaii, where their son was diagnosed with bilateral retinal blastoma, cancer in both eyes.
They had probably never even heard of retinoblastoma, let alone an eye cancer. Most medical doctors don't know about eye cancers.
A massive tumor consumed his left eye. 4 smaller ones invaded the right, so doctors rushed Kyle here to the world-renowned Wills Eye Hospital and Dr. Carol Shields.
We drove straight from the airport to her office, and she took us in immediately and told us at that point that if we didn't remove his left eye, he would probably have 3 to 4 months to live.
This cancer could kill Kyle within a year if left untreated. I like parents to know that, because I like to know what they're up against.
She didn't give us any false hope. She said, this is what has to be done, and if we do this, Kyle's chance of survival is, the best.
Kyle began treatment immediately. Surgery to remove his left eye, 6 months of chemotherapy, a parade of doctors, a stream of tears.
We get emotional every time we talk about it. It just, anyone that has children, anyone, you never want anything like this to happen to your child.
The biggest thing was just not knowing if he's going to live, if he's going to make it. Probably the hardest thing I ever went through.
It wasn't really scary to me, because I was like, laying there doing nothing.
I would talk to him on the phone and you hear these little words like everything was going well, and it would be like, wow, if that was me, I would not be giggling and stuff. I'd be like crying all the time.
When I saw him hooked up to all that stuff, it made me like cry because I really didn't want to see my brother like that.
This is like riding on a roller coaster ride. So you take off, you feel secure, you got your seatbelt on, but you start climbing that first hill, and who knows what's going to happen.
And 2 months after surgery, another gut-wrenching turn.
We were going down the road and I just happened to look back. Don't know why I looked back at that time, and noticed that he was just gasping for air. So at the time we didn't have a cell phone, so I pulled over at the first driveway that I came to and ran up with him limp in my arms and asked him to call 911. We got to the hospital, his temperature was 105 and his blood pressure was really low, and they told us that, you know, he did have an infection in his bloodstream, and it was just a matter of time to see who was going to win, the infection or the antibiotics. So he teeter-tottered and back and forth in ICU for about 4 days.
Oh, yeah. Great.
It's a birdie.
We always say that God has performed many miracles in Kyle's life.
Yeah.
Today, Kyle is cancer-free. He sees the doctor twice a year. The golf course, he visits at least twice a week. Last summer, Jeff Lograsso decided to see just how good his son really was. So he called around to some local courses, at least 10, before an instructor would even look at a 3-year-old.
Perfect. Perfect. My first reaction was, wow, this is neat. He looks like a pro. I mean, at age 4, it's the youngest I've ever seen. A month ago, he shot 101, and his lowest score from 9 holes is 46. People that have been playing golf that are way, you know, for forever don't shoot that well. Good shot, Kyle.
A prodigy now, a professional later. Maybe. He's got a pure swing, fiery determination, and a positive outlook, even if that outlook only sees through one eye.
Unbelievable.
I tell them, you know, sky's the limit. There's not a golfer on this planet that compares to what you've already beaten. Not Tiger, not Phil, not Jim, not anybody.
This is one hateful hole.
Doesn't like it?
Who knows how good he can be? He could be, obviously like Tiger, he could be the best in the world.
Everybody that sees him thinks he's the next Tiger, but I think, 1, we're happy he's Kyle, 2, he's with us. It just could have been that he's not with us.
He gave me a little gift, maybe 6 months ago. And it was a golf ball that had his initials on it. And I've saved that gift. I just think someday when he's out shooting around with Tiger Woods, I've got a golf ball from this kid.
If you would like to learn more about Kyle and his charities, you can go to KyleLograsso.org. We want to wish Jeff Lograsso a safe return from Iraq and many more rounds of golf with Kyle in the future. For all of us here at Net Impact, I'm John Bork. Thank you for joining us, and have a good night.